Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with. It's a beautiful Thursday here in southeastern Michigan. It is so much more summer than it is fall here. Temperatures are in the 80s. We might even see some 90s. It is crazy, crazy good weather. Uh, Good for the lawn, keep the lawn down. Bad for the weeds because they grow. Um, yeah. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking with actor Ken Holmes tonight. Super excited for this one. Ken's got a hell of a resume. A very interesting mix of acting and leading roles, and it looks to me like he's in demand as a background actor. Now that's not unheard of. We've talked to some people who have been sought out for background work because they're so professional. Ken also has several speaking roles, including one role which I'm super excited about. When I saw that he had did this, I just got excited because we're going to be talking about it. And we covered this for the IFC show, IFC Midnight show. In fact, I'm the one that picked this one out. That's right. I always get sort of self-conscious when I talk about the picks I do for IFC night, but I know I pick winners. It's just mine, it's just me. Hey Jerry, how are you? And there's Lucas Boy and Steve in the house. Anthony, how are you? Um, so our guest tonight, Ken Holmes, got to star in an IFC movie that we could cover for the IFC Midnights, and that is The Cold in July. Now, this is a hell of a movie. This is one of my favorite IFC movies. This is a banger. And just be able to talk to an actor in the production is going to be pretty exciting for me because this is a great movie. Sam Shepard, Don Johnson, Michael C. Hall, yes, Wyatt Russell, Ken Holmes, sign me up. This is a hell of a movie. I put the link down in the description box down below, I believe, to the show, to the ISC show. We had a lot of fun. Hey, Eric, it's Eric. All right, our good friend Eric. I think I made his day yesterday when I told him I did a 25-minute rant. I finally got a rant across the movie that I just had a rant on. I was like about the 24-minute mark. I'm going like, Jesus Christ! I think I sound like Eric, um, but I can understand why he does it because this movie deserved it. But he won't be able to see that rant for another couple of weeks. That's on a Dollar Theater, and the movie's called The Hill. But my review won't drop for a couple of weeks. Next Monday, we're going to be reviewing The War of the Worlds, 1953. So I'm super psyched. I'm super psyched about that because I love going back to the classics. And we got more coming up too. We got more coming up. So Eric has done not Eric, but Ken has done a lot of good. He's been in a lot of good films. He's got over. He's got well over 150 credits. Well, actually, 160. He's got coming up too. And like I said before, he has been in a lot of really great films and TV series. And you know what they say, when it comes down to acting, take it when you get it. And I just can't imagine how many great stories that Ken has had working on the various sets that he's had. I mean, there's got to be so many experiences. One would hope that he has recorded these because this would make a hell of a book. I would buy this book. I would buy this book. Um, we are getting ready for our own version of the spectacular here on 8 Questions with. So, like I said, I did something which normally is not a big thing. As some of you may know, that I lost my main source for interviews when Meta, aka Mark Fascisberg, um, He eliminated 250 Facebook and Instagram accounts. I got caught up in that. Didn't do anything wrong. Nobody did. We just got caught in a flush. Uh, think of us our accounts as collateral damage. They thinking that they're saying that it was a robot. This and unless you know somebody in the press that can actually get a hold of somebody in Meta, then you're pretty much just out of luck. So what I had to do is I had to go back to basics, and that is, and I'm glad I did. I should have been doing this a little bit more. I got away from it. I guess I got complacent as far as finding my guests. Now I have to work at it again, and I'm all in for that. So, in fact, Ken is actually my first actor I believe I met through TikTok. He's one of the, well, actually one of the, getting a few coming in from there. I got more coming in. TikTok is actually not as scary as I thought. I mean, there's a lot of weird people on there. There are a lot of weird people on TikTok. I mean, yes, but so far we've met some really nice people, really nice people. In fact, we have Ken's here today. Ken Ken Holmes is my I think he's my second or third, and then we have Florence. Florence Frightingale's coming this Saturday, and I also found her on TikTok. So there's a lot of talent out there, and it's just finding it, because it's a little hard to search for it. They don't make you eat. They don't make it easy for you. You do have to work to find folks. But the ones that I've found so far, if there are movies like this, yeah, sign me up. So like I said, we got Ken's here, and Florence Frightingale this Saturday. But what I did was I went to Facebook groups, and normally when I do this, it's I throw the word out there, hey, who wants to come talk in actor groups? Go there at actors. You think actors, the one thing they want to do is they want to talk. Not so fast. It's pretty hard sometimes to get actors to come over and take advantage of free press. Free press. Hey, want to talk about yourself? Want to talk about a movie you've done? Free. A lot of them just I think they're looking behind. They're saying like, what's the catch? There is no catch. And so most of the time when I do this in groups, I get 2 to 3 responses. And so, but this week, I went to a group and I asked who wants to talk. Anybody wants to talk. As of today, as of right now, I have gotten responses from probably 70 that would like to talk. I never saw that coming. Never saw that coming. I never even come close to having that sort of response that I have now. Now, does that mean that 8 questions is like, oh shit, people are hearing about it? No, no. Much as I like to sit there and say, yeah, but no. But they are. But it does show one thing. It does show that actors and directors and producers, they're realizing the importance of getting press anywhere they can get it, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and if you're independent, it's hard to get noticed. It's very hard to get noticed because there's so much out there. There's so much clutter out there that I made a movie and 100 people will sit there and say, so did I. So to get out there and get your name out there and say, hey, this is the movie that I made, these are the actors I cast, this is how I wrote, it's how I made it happen. It's more important it's more important today than it ever has been for especially independents to be able to be heard. And so when we provide a platform like doing this visual podcast, I realize that, yeah, it doesn't look very much, you see 4 people watching, you see maybe 30 people viewing it, but that's 4 more and 30 more than you had an hour ago. And they can only grow. They can only grow. So I mean, it isn't, and it lands and it increases your digital footprint just a little bit. Now, when I type in John Jones, instead of having 5 names, 5 articles out there with your name on it, now when you do an interview like this, or like with Eric, or Eric also is an interviewer as well, or our friend Al Card, or Pugwall, or Mike from Did You See That? Anybody who does interviews, when you upload them and launch them into the net, you've increased that person's digital footprint all that much more. And so it's a good service to have. All right, the bell has rung. The doorbell is being knocked on, so that means our guest is here, and so we're gonna be talking about this. We're gonna. I know it's 2014, but you know what? This movie is awesome. This is ageless. We're gonna go talk to our new best friend, our new big co, Ken Holmes. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Ken.
Hey.
So, how about a bonus question for you? Do you remember the movie that where I quoted? Do you know the movie I quoted? Let's give it up to Sergeant Hulka. He's our new best big toe.
Say that again?
Let's give it up for Sergeant Hulka, our new best friend, our new big toe.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I know this, but no,
You
tell me.
do. Uh, it was Stripes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Okay. It's
classic,
been a
classic
while. That's a
line.
great movie, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen. You know what though? But I'm more excited. I mean, I love Stripes. Stripes is all that. But what I was really jazzed up about when I looked on your IMDb page and saw this, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, this is so." Has anybody ever showed you that they actually own a copy of this?
Not many. You're actually one of the first, so I am pumped. I'm so glad to to meet such a great fan of the film. It was actually probably my favorite film that I worked on. Definitely, it's up there.
I saw that because he highlighted it among the four, the IMDb
Yeah.
pictures they all know for, and you had it up there as one of your four.
Yeah.
And I sent you I bet you were surprised when I said, well, not only did we watch this movie, but we deep dived it too.
You deep dived
Um,
it hardcore. Like I watched that video when you first sent it to me. I wasn't even like aware that you knew that I was in it. So I was like, "Oh wow, they." So that's why I messaged you and said, "You know what? I was actually in that movie." So that's so dope. I had a blast working on that. I remember when I worked on that, I was working at a haunted house. I've worked at this haunted house in upstate New York called it was called Dr. Morbid's Haunted House, and I was working there. I submitted for that movie. Uh, I submitted for Cold in July. I got contacted by the casting agency. I think they were called Breakthrough Talent, and they said that the director wanted to talk to me just based on my picture. So at that time, my headshot was kind of like a mean mug, like I was like not smiling, very angry looking. And so I think that helped me book the role because I played the burglar. I had to be a little bit intimidating. Um, so I had a phone call with the director, Jim Mickle, who is a crazy talent. Like he's such a talented director. I've become a big fan of his since working on him. Went back and watched his other films like We Are What We Are, Stake Land. And so I had a phone call with him, and that was basically my audition. And then when I went to set, it was filmed in Kingston, New York. The first person I met was, I believe, a PA. The second person I met was Michael C. Hall. The third person I met was Vanessa Shaw. Like, it was just a crazy day. And I remember, like, Michael, I try not to act like I'm starstruck or anything when I'm on set, but because I wasn't expecting to meet him right away, when I met Michael, I was like, oh, wow. And I think he got a kick out of that. But it was a really
sure.
cool night. We filmed all night long, and I really, really had a blast. I especially liked working with the makeup team. Brian Spears, I remember, did the makeup for that, and he had this like prosthetic eye that was over my real eye, and he had the tube that spurted out blood.
Right.
Um, and there's some really dope pictures of me with that eye. And also with the prosthetic mold that they did of my body too, because later, I guess it's okay for spoilers, right? It's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's been out for 10 years.
Yeah, they dig up my body, and like there's this. So they had to make a mold of my upper body. So that was the first time I ever worked with a makeup team like that too. So it's a really cool mold. Like I almost wanted it, but then again, it really did look like me, like my corpse. So I don't know. It'd be kind of creepy maybe to have it in my house.
Yeah, that might be. Well, it definitely would be. Well, I mean, I definitely would be interesting to pull it out for Halloween and of course July. But it'd
Yeah.
be great to do, to do that. On the 4th of July, just wheel that out there and like, Happy 4th, everybody. Uh, uh, yeah, I was impressed with that. I mean, I was sitting there going like, man, this is so cool. I don't really get a chance to really talk to people who have, because I love IFC films.
Yeah.
They're my favorite. Anything they could do, I try to get. I try to collect them, and so I got this movie and watched it and was blown away by it. Just so damn good,
Yeah.
and yeah. But I loved your career. I was looking at your body of work, and such an interesting career you've had. I really think so. I'm just sitting going like, this is a balanced career, and what it tells me too is not only you're not afraid of hard work, but there's a lot of people who know you. They know you. They call you. You are in demand, I'm sure, by casting directors. Say, hey, we need you to come in and and do something for us. I mean, that many credits. You're on a lot of Rolodexes. That takes a lot of dedication, a lot of skill,
Thank you.
because yes, and I'm impressed, and I definitely want to touch bases with you on a lot of these films because what I said before you got here was I hope he does a book because I was thinking of all the stories you must have. I'm going like, I'm hoping he's sitting over there with a recorder and recording everything he can remember, because this would be a hell of a book to read or hear.
Yeah. I thank you. I take down as much as I can. I do hope to write an autobiography someday. Hopefully people would be interested to read it. But I'm gonna wait a while till I get to that stage. But I'm collecting stuff. I'm always collecting and observing. And thank you. Yeah, I have done like, I guess you call it like a diverse. I have a diverse filmography. Somebody I met recently said, "Be prolific, not perfect," and I really like
Right.
that quote. And that's what I try to emulate. A lot of my favorite actors are the people who pop up here and there, and maybe they're not always in the best movies. Sometimes they're not, but they always do interesting work and they're not afraid to fail. And those are the people that inspire me. That's the kind of person, that's the kind of artist I want to be. I don't need to look back on my career and think everything was incredible. I just want to say, well, I made some choices, I took some chances. That's definitely what I want to do.
It's interesting. It's interesting because for a while there, I mean, I was like, seeing Eric Roberts' name everywhere. Anything that was
Mm-hmm.
coming up and see Eric Roberts. And at first it was one of those things like, wow, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? But then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, then you start looking at it again. Like,
Yeah.
you start looking at it. And I remember the move. I saw a short film, uh, 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 and he was in it, and I was just blown away by the dedication. Like, wow, here it is. It's a small short film, but it's like Shakespeare. He's given it like, and I started looking at his work again, And I realized that no, yes, he has done a lot of really low budget movies, but there's one constant in that, and that is he has never, that I have seen, he has never phoned it in. Every time he goes on a set, no matter,
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that he's able to look at the scripts and go like, and not just like, oh, he looks at the script, he gets it going, he goes on set, he does it, and it elevates the movie for a little bit while he's there. Maybe it's only one scene, maybe two scenes, but they're very well done.
Yeah.
And he does not phone it in. And I got so much. I have a newfound respect for the work ethic that he does.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he's actually one
uh,
of my inspirations.
uh,
He always, I feel like he brings his A game. I was watching a video on him recently, and one of the things that came up was that his struggles with addiction, and in a way, his work has replaced any kind of addiction that he used to have, and that's why he's always working. But he does always bring his A game. I feel I've worked with actors before, not many, but occasionally I have, who it feels like they feel like they're above what they're doing. It doesn't happen very often, but I can think of a few people who I felt that from. And I definitely don't feel like he's one of those people. I feel like he's just happy to be working.
yeah, it's almost like it's just interesting watching him go from movie to movie. Some movies are quite good. I mean,
Mm,
they're like, holy cow, like, all right, this is, and then some are, it's almost like they did a favor. It comes in there, he pops in there for the scene, and he bounces out. His name gets on, put his name on the cover
mhm.
of the DVD, and it moves. It moves. People buy it because people still know who Eric Roberts is.
Mhm.
But his he's not. I mean, he's a great example of an Oscar-nominated actor who can still do big roles in big pictures. And
Yeah.
we still see that. I mean, there's still that demand for him. Like, hey, come on down, and we're got a $100 million picture. We need you to come in there and come in here and do this role. And he could do that, and the next day he could be over there doing a $50,000 film, and for his rate, or even
Yeah.
giving half of a rate or something, like he just wants to help out. It's it's interesting to me, and you're right about the replacement. I never thought about that, but
Mhm.
that makes sense. I mean, he did have an addictive personality when he was younger, but I mean, I mean, I can't even I remember in his heyday when he was a bad boy, but for the last 30 years, all I know about Eric Roberts is that he just kicks ass, and
Yeah.
he'll work just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, how did you get your start in your career? I mean, you must have. Did you start in like traditional way? Did you start in junior high or elementary and just work your way up, or did you always? When did you notice you wanted to be an actor?
I mean, there were always hints. Like in school, in first grade, I was always acting out in front of the class, and I was pretending to like be different characters. I was kind of the class clown, I guess. And I was sort of popular, but just in like a he'll do anything kind of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And so, it was kind of like, hey, Ken, do this, or they knew that I wasn't afraid of the teachers or making a fool of myself. So, I mean, I pretended to be a fundamentalist preacher one time in front of the class. Another time, I like took kids' stuff, like their backpacks and things, and I threw them in the trash. And I was like, we don't need to hang on to these material belongings anymore. Like, I don't know, I was a little bit unhinged. But what it was I didn't have an outlet. I didn't have the outlet of performance, and I didn't know that that was an option for me, or it wasn't an option yet. And so it was coming through like the classroom was my performance space. And then I ended up being homeschooled, but I continued to like really be interested in movies and theater, and I did a couple homeschool plays. And I do remember, like, I used to think that acting was putting on an accent or changing your voice in some way or your body. So every character I played when I was a kid had some kind of an accent. I thought like I couldn't use my real voice. And then when I was 12 was when it really started. I got a small role in The Merry Wives of Windsor by Shakespeare over at a local college, Castleton College. And then after that, I was just hooked. I started doing other college plays if they had a part for a kid, or I would do community theater. And then I ended up, so I did that for a while. I did some background work in films too. So even at a young age, I was doing background work. And I think my first movie was called Ordinary Sinner that I did background for. Elizabeth Banks was in it. It was one of her early roles. A. Martinez, I think, was in it. Um, I haven't heard much about it lately, but it was a very early role for Elizabeth Banks. Like, and you know, nobody really knew who she was at that point, or at least nobody that I knew. Nobody on, none of my friends knew who she was at that point. I believe she had done Wet Hot American Summer, but that was like her one thing that everybody knew her from.
Right.
And
A. Martinez was a massive soap star at that time.
yes, he was.
He was a big soap. He was a character actor on TV shows. I remember watching him, but when I was, a few days ago. But then he went into soap operas and became a very big star.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like to work on their first film? I mean, did you have any training, training to, to how to, to work a set yet, or was this learning by, trial by fire?
No, it was trial by fire at first. Like my first couple of movies, I didn't know anything about it. I was a big fan of movies. Actually, my very first movie, I actually, it's so long ago, I actually forgot to even mention. It was called Groupies, I think, but they changed the name to The Junior Defenders. Very obscure movie, although it did have a lot of celebrity cameos, like John Waters, I think, was in it. Kevin Smith, I want to say, was in it. Like, very obscure movie, though. But I was like 8 years old, I think, when I did that. And so that was my very first time. But it was all like trial by fire. Like, I didn't really know anything about set etiquette. But I've always been an observer, so I watch how other people act, and I kind of know what not to do, what to do, just by watching other people. And
Common sense.
yeah, and how they're treated, or usually I would watch somebody. If I saw somebody get yelled at for something, I'd be like, okay, so don't do what they just did. So I never really got in trouble for at that young age, because I sort of knew how to act by just observing. But then skipping ahead to 2016, I think I got a little older, and I took a semester abroad in London, and that's where I really caught the bug for theater. And well, I was already caught the bug for theater, but like professional theater, I saw a lot of West End shows, and I took an acting class with Jeremy Irons. And I just like I felt like my semester abroad in London really took me to the next level. And then I studied theater in college, and after graduating college, I auditioned for the first time for a movie. It was a horror movie, a vampire movie, and I got in. And then ever since then, it's mostly been film, because that's where I found the most work. And I love both mediums. Like, theater is, I always say, is like, it's very ephemeral. You do it and then it's gone. And there's something I love about that, like when the monks create sand art and then they just destroy it. That's what it feels like to me. But
Right.
with a movie, you do it, and potentially it lasts forever. I mean, I guess that's debatable now, but the goal is that it lasts forever. And I do love that aspect of film, because I want to do things that outlive me.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to worry about your legacy. That's for sure.
Thank
No, not at all. I mean, that is, you're, like I said, I mean, you got over 160 credits. I mean, people would just die for that, like to have a quarter of that action. And the fact of the matter is too is that you're also in demand. People. I mean, you do get a lot of phone calls. And you know, I'm sure you get a lot of heads up and everything else because you're, you know, people know who you are. They respect you because I saw when I was looking at your filmography, I saw a lot of the same people that were using you in various films,
Mm.
like Adam Sandler. And you've been in what 2 or 3 of his films.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
great. Yeah.
Now Adam Sandler, he's a filmmaker that he has a crew. He has a you
Hmm.
know like a, you know so so whoever, like, if you work for him and you come back and work various pictures, everybody works with him. Everybody's worked with him once, probably will work with him again because he doesn't forget people.
Hmm.
And that's one thing I noticed. Let me slide over to the draft, to the chat. I don't know where that came from. Let's see, on the Dell and the Wonder Twins are here. Miki and Kira. Let's see. And the twins say, for acting, I've heard many actors say the stage in theater is often harder than filming a movie. Would you agree? Is there a difference with that live audience experience? So let's talk about that for a second. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so how is that? How about you? Would you agree with that? Has it been more difficult for you to prepare for a role in live theater or on a film?
Um, it's more difficult in some ways. In some ways it's easier, but in some ways it's harder. In most ways, I would say it's more difficult. It's more demanding and it's more time consuming. Um, you do have more rehearsal time for theater, but the play is the thing. Once the performance is there, it's live. You can't go back. Whatever happens, happens. And even though you had all that rehearsal time, this is your time to make it or break it, basically, and whatever happens, happens. Whereas with a film, you can stop, you can go back. Um, so I would say theater, for the most part, is, as an actor, is more work, though, because you really have to totally commit yourself. You don't really rely as much on other people when you're on stage. I mean, obviously you do. You have the wardrobe, you have the lights, you have the set. But with a film, your performance is really in the hands of a whole crew, many people, and most especially, I would say, the editor. Like, the editor can really manipulate your performance however they do it. They can cut your scene. They can make it look like you're reacting in a way you didn't intend. So much of your performance is actually in somebody else's hands. With theater, I don't think that's as much the case. You kind of know what performance you're given, I believe, in on stage.
So if you're working a film set and you go to lunch or whatever and you take extra 4 or 5 ding dongs, that's for the editor, right? Like, you go back there and say, yo, make me look like a star. So
Yeah.
okay, that's good to know. I was wondering, why are people always looking at editors like the gods? Now we know, thanks
Yeah.
to Ken, we know this now. Uh,
I mean,
wow, but
I've done some
can,
editing
can editors
too.
really can editors really get away with that though? I mean, to me, it would just like, yes, I can make this, I can manipulate this, but I think it doesn't a director come behind that and sit there and go
Oh,
like
and
and clean that up a little bit.
the director and the editor, because often the director is involved with the editing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, they say that that film is a director's medium, and I kind of put the editor and the director in the same camp, because they're working together. I guess not always, but usually I think they should, or they do. Um, but yeah, with a play, like, it's really, you're basically naked in front of the audience. Like, what you do, it really, you can't you can't make excuses on stage. I think you can make excuses on film like that. That's not what I intended or whatever. But on stage, there's no excuse. So in those ways, I guess I could say that the stage is harder. It's definitely more of an actor's medium.
Yes. And you're out there with no net, and like if you go up there and blow a line, you just got to keep going forward.
Yeah, you just got to keep going. Exactly.
Let me catch back to the chat. We are flying in the chat today, so I'm going to go back and catch up. Yes, and the twins mentioned that working with Jeremy Irons, great actors, must have been a great learning experience. Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, what a Jeremy Irons is so badass.
Yeah.
He's
I'll tell you my favorite story from Jeremy Irons. So he was doing a play over at the Theatre Royal Haymarket at the time. So he was doing this class before a show, I think. So I got to take this class. It was a really cool experience. But my favorite lesson from him was he brought his dogs to class. And he said the reason why he did that was because they are naturally good actors. And what is a naturally good actor? It's a naturally interesting actor. It's who your eye is drawn to. So if you get bored watching me, Jeremy Irons, your eye will go to the dogs because they are engaging. They are naturally fun to watch. And that's what actors should.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. We have a friend in the chat here, our good friend Steve, and he has a black Labrador named Lucas. And every Monday he does a live stream, and in it we all want to see Lucas. It's all about Lucas boy.
Yeah.
And so he brings him out there, and there he is, all happy-go-lucky. I mean, he's a very happy-go-lucky dog. But sure enough, as soon as we see Lucas, the whole atmosphere raises up, and everybody's in a really good mood.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, you're not doing anything. You're just their presence. Your eye is drawn to them, and you just enjoy watching them.
Yeah, for me, I'm more of a cat guy. So I mean, but basically, it's the same thing.
I see the cat up there. Yeah, I love cats too.
This is and the twins mentioned love what he said about his dogs. So true. I say that about my cats as well. Yeah. I don't know. I hope Steve's with us because we're talking about Lucas boy here. I just want to say hi to our good friend Jeff Clark is here. He also is a filmmaker based in New York and New Jersey. He works out of there. Terrific talent, and he said the same thing to you. He says good to be here. Love that you're still interviewing talent, and he should know because he has a very good eye for that. And the interviewer guy, Patrick was his face, says that Ken is damn talented. So that Patrick guy's got it on the ball too. Let's see. It says Mika mentioned. And our good friend Eerie Frog is here. I'm trying to become frog famous like my buddy over there. It says here, yes, I would think it makes sense that the editor and the director should work hand in hand. But now that you said that about the editors, now I wonder. Now it's got me wondering. It's like, man, when we see a scene, we're going like, man, that wasn't really well edited. Was that done on purpose? Was that done on purpose? Like, how come only half his head showed up in that shot? Who edited that? And the editor's going like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did.
Don't tick off the editor, definitely.
Yeah, and it wasn't an accident. So I always feel like, what do you feel about this? I always feel like directors make the best editors.
Yes,
I think I come to the conclusion that directors make the best editors because they know what a director wants. Editor may not. It's a good editor, but it's not a director. It's not a director. So he's I think the director that knows what because sometimes it's hard to articulate that. Especially young directors who are just starting out and they're trying to articulate their story. Maybe they're having a little hard time with it.
Yeah.
Another director will understand that and will be able to talk with them and say, hey, maybe this is what you're trying to do. Let's just play it and find out. So yeah, let's see.
Absolutely. Ultimately, it's storytelling, and the director. I would even argue that like editing and writing are very similar, and directing. Editing, writing, and directing. Ultimately, you're telling this. You're shaping the story.
Wow, we have a lot of action in the chat tonight. Here's another question. Have you ever worked on a film where the editing made it a lot better or worse than you thought it was going to be? That's a really good question.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I won't mention any worse, but I will say that I've done some things that I thought were going to be okay, and then I watched it, and I mean, due to whatever, it might be due to a couple factors. It might be due to music. It might be due to bad color grading. It might be due to bad sound, because sound is actually like one of the most important things. If you can't hear anything, you're done.
Right.
So there's multiple factors, and yeah, and sometimes you're watching something and it's like, this isn't what I worked on. Like, what is this? Um, and and then on the other hands, there's stuff that I didn't know how good it was when I was working on it, and sometimes I'll see it and I'd be like, I'm actually impressed. That looks pretty good. So yeah, it goes both ways. Absolutely.
Let's see. And the twins come back and say, Ken, I'm curious about your thoughts on creative process when creating a script. Let's talk about that too, because you get scripts for everything that you do, even if it isn't a speaking role, even if it's just background. Do
Oh no.
they give you a do they give you a script so you could? Because like I said, I mean, I'm sure that you're just not there. I'm sure because of the amount of work that you do, people look for you for the reason, because there are, because people care about that sort of thing. They care about, how the movie looks behind. You don't want to just, you just don't want to have just the main actors and have nothing going on behind them, or
Hmm.
people looking at the camera and stealing focus and all that.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen. So do they give you a script, and do you, for every role that you do, and if they do, are you allowed? I never asked this before, but are you allowed to keep a script for like an indie film, not a big blockbuster, but
Oh,
an indie film? Are you allowed to keep that for yourself afterwards?
well, that varies. For the major motion pictures and TV, they do not let you keep the script. Absolutely. Sometimes I usually don't even get it for background. If you're doing stand-in work, though, you will get sides that will just show you like the scenes for the person that you're standing in for. And usually you can keep those sides. Sometimes you can't. It really depends on the production. I have a lot of sides here at home for productions that just didn't care that I brought it home with me. So in terms of the indie films, sometimes you can keep a script. Believe it or not, I actually do have the script for Cold in July, not here in New York, but back in my other home in Vermont. So I do have the script for that. Amazingly, they let me keep that. So sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. It's kind of rare, but yeah.
And just in case you're wondering what that Cold in July is, Cold in July is an IFC Films. I'm not sure if you ever heard of IFC Films before. If you guys haven't, you can drop me, you can drop in the comment section. But Ken was in this IFC Cold in July. I'm the only one that pushes it. I'm the only one.
Thank you.
Nobody else does that. Yes. They, I think I drive my friends nuts here on the movie tubers. It's like, dude, give it a rest already. But it's like, but I'm the only one. So yeah. Let's see. Let me ask another. Let's see if another question. I love that question. Oh, Dell, what did I do? I missed one of Dell's. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question, Dell, because like we were just talking about Eric Roberts. Whereas, like he comes in on a movie. I mean, you know how he does. He comes on a big budget movie or a small budget movie, but he is always what I call an elevator. He comes in, as soon as you see Eric Roberts comes in, you know the movie's going to be elevated at least a little
Mm.
bit for every scene that he's in. It's going to be raised up. I mean, you can't. I mean, it's hard to blow. It's hard to be a director and blow directing Eric Roberts in a scene, to make it bad. I mean, he's just that good.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Um, so what is it? How does it work? Now you've done over 40 features where you've acted. It seems like it's getting more and more. People are asking you to come and audition for roles now. Um, but when you are doing background work, how many multiple sets have you worked on? Like like they see you and they say, "Hey, glad you're here with us." Um, does that happen a lot when you get called to, a same TV series, 3 or 4 times? Do they recognize you and appreciate you for what you bring?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you do see a lot of the same people working on crews, and over time, sometimes they will recognize you. I've even felt it from some of the stars of the shows that they'll recognize people if they see them enough. And yeah, sometimes, but there are a lot of crews that come in from different places. Like there are crews from LA that come here, and they might come, and then I'll never see them again. So, but for the most part, yeah, I do at least recognize people, and maybe they won't know your name, and maybe you won't know their name. Try to know people's names if you can, but maybe but you'll at least recognize the face. And yeah, in terms of the speaking roles and stuff, definitely I try to keep in touch with people as much as I can and work with. I like working with the same people over and over again. You mentioned Adam Sandler, and he's great to work with. I definitely hope to work with him again. I did a really fun scene for him in Happy Gilmore too. I think the reason that I got a featured role in that actually was because I did a makeup test for that film, and I was a makeup test subject for Benny Safdie. In the movie, he gets coffee thrown in his face, and he gets scarred up. And so they wanted to test the scar makeup on somebody, so they tested it on me. And I got to hang out with the crew and Adam, and I actually, I could be wrong. I feel like that might be partly why I ended up doing that little featured part in the movie. But yeah, and I liked working with people over and over again. You mentioned Eric Roberts a few times, or we've talked about Eric Roberts a few times. I did do some movies with him that James Balsamo directed, and he did It Wants Blood and Hollywood Werewolf, and he was in those movies. And I didn't actually work in the same on the same set as Eric Roberts, but we did a scene where he's watching me on TV, and in It Wants Blood, I played a politician who opposes him, and he's watching me on TV. So that was a lot of fun.
I was going to be I was bringing that up because I want to talk a little bit about that too. But I want to talk a little bit about the Happy Gilmore experience because how fun is that? I mean, what's it like working on an Adam Sandler set? I mean, is it strictly professional? Or is it loose and relaxed? Is it like a family atmosphere? What's it like working? Because you worked on more than one set of his.
It's a family atmosphere, but it is professional. But it is very friendly, and they're I remember when I was doing the makeup test, it was like very, very warm, and I got to have tons of snacks, which was nice. And if you've ever been on a film set, you know how nice that is. And so it is friendly, and he's very nice, and he's very approachable. If you have questions, like he's really great to talk with and approachable and communicative too. Like he really communicates what his vision is. On that film for my scene, we did it a bunch of times. Like we filmed for a couple hours, just my part. And the first takes were all really over the top. Like in the scene, his family is going to Paris, and I'm the the airport security person, and I'm waving them in, and the boys have these baguettes, and they're making lewd gestures at me, and they like put them over their heads and start, bonking me on the head with it. And I'm like disgusted by it and hurt and like, it's really over the top and slapsticky. And then for the last take, Adam was like, not so much this time. They're just gonna make some small lewd gestures, but it's not a big deal. Just kind of wave them in, just be slightly annoyed. But no physical violence, nothing too over the top. Just a small little scene. And that's what we did. And that's the take they used. The last one, and it was the only one we did like that. So it's kind of funny how you just never know.
And of course, Happy Gilmore has gone on to become a rather big hit for the summer. And let's see, the twins mentioned we see you as a screenwriter. So, are you currently working on developing your own film? Wow, I would think that's a really good question considering what you have in your toolbox. I mean, I'm sure your Rolodex has just got to be filled to the rim. If you decide to make a movie, I think you would have no trouble attracting a crew and probably a cast as well. But is that something you want to do in the future or near future, or maybe a little bit down the line, is to make your own film?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do make short films, and I have a web series called Zoom Shorts that I do with my friend Karen Clommey and my dad, Burnham Holmes. And we've done like 44 episodes. It's you can find it on YouTube. And I don't do all the films, but we split them up. My dad does some of them, Karen does some, I do some, and sometimes we collaborate together. I've done a couple short films. In fact, I have one in the works right now. It's in post, called In the Dark Solace, and so that should be that's one that I co-directed with Karen, and a good friend wrote it, Christopher Science, and so that should be in the works. That's a very dark, dramatic film. And I also do have a feature film that I didn't direct, but I co-wrote, called I Love You, Maria, that's in post-production right now. And that was filmed in New York and Italy, actually. And that's so I do actually have a feature film that like I didn't, Karen directed it, but I co-wrote it with Karen and our friend Maria Sofia Palmieri, and I believe my dad co-wrote it as well. And so I do have that in the works. But at some point, yeah, as writer director, I would like to do something. I feel like I'm a collaborative person. I like to collaborate with people. I like to co-write. I like to co-direct. Lin-Manuel Miranda was asked why he didn't direct In the Heights, and he said it was because he really likes to collaborate with his art. So if he writes something, he doesn't want to direct it. He directed Tick Tick Boom, which I worked on, but he likes to feed off of somebody else's creativity, and also vice versa. So I sort of feel that way as well. I don't really like to do everything myself. I like to split up some of it, like maybe co-write, co-direct. Maybe I'll write, somebody else will direct. I'll direct, somebody else will write. Whatever, something along those lines. So I don't really see myself as, writer, director, editor, all the things.
Yeah, I've always felt like I've always felt this way. I always felt like, especially maybe when you're more seasoned, but I think sometimes I see a big mistake is when I see a first time filmmaker that directs and does the screenplay and also acts. And that is such a heavy load, and more often than not, it doesn't ever work. It really doesn't. It's just too much weight. It's better
who's telling who's telling you something doesn't work? You need that person.
Right, right. You really do, because I've seen some movies where it just there's no man. There's just it struggles. The movie struggles when they wear 2 out of 3 hats. The movie works. But when you try to do everything all at once, man, it's just like I said, it just doesn't. More often than not, it doesn't work. It
Yeah.
collapses on the weight of itself.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dell saying, how did I just notice the Room T-shirt? Nice.
Yeah. This is
Uh,
actually, yeah, I love this shirt. This is actually autographed by Tommy Wiseau too.
oh my God. Well, speaking of that, speaking of what we just got done talking about, the directing and the writing and the acting, it's like, look at Tommy. I mean, it's just like, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think anything could have saved that. What's up? Give me. I mean, we're gonna talk about the good stuff because definitely want to talk about the good stuff. But tell me about 3 or 4 films that you worked on where it's just like, what the hell am I doing here? Um, and and yes, we
Oh,
and yes, we want titles. We want titles.
oh my gosh. Well, I don't like to badmouth anything really. But let's see. I'm sure. Okay, so I did one film that I was a gangster in, and I don't know what happened, like what was going. I think they forgot I was in it, honestly. And so but then I had the date, and then they just totally forgot that my scene was part of the shooting schedule. And so they kind of like, I don't think they even wrote it. Like they had me playing this character, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we never wrote that scene. Like we never prepared for this." But then they shot it anyway, and we just kind of improvised it. And I don't know if it worked or not. The movie never was released. There are some people who like did see it and made fun of it, like they did like a mystery science theater type thing for it. So like I am part of a movie where some people did a video like that. I never got to see it, so or not the full thing, so I don't even know. But and I don't know if my scene made the cut or not. My guess is probably no. But yeah, that was one experience. And I would guess I would say that was probably my most like WTF moment where I'm like, what am I even doing here? Like I could have not shown up and nobody would have even noticed.
Let me ask you a question because I never asked this one either. But what's it? I mean, do actors like shows like that Mystery Theater 3000? I mean, we all watch it as fans. We all see the
Hmm.
comment or whatever. But as an actor, do you think of that as completely disrespectful to the process and to the actors that are on the screen, or do you like, okay, I can see why they're doing it? I mean, like the movie's not that good, but because I've watched a couple of their movies where they poke fun at it and ripped it,
Hmm.
and I'm sitting there going like, I don't understand it because this movie is actually pretty damn good. I
Hmm.
mean, I've seen some of the movies that they poke fun at, and yeah, I'm going like, yeah, we all talk shit to the movies on the TV, but a couple of them are stronger than that, much stronger. And you go like, what's the funny? What's the funny part?
Yeah.
But as an actor, I mean, if someone actually, if one of your movies actually came out publicly and was on Mystery Science 3000, would you? Is that do you feel like that's a disrespect towards you and the company that made the movie, or is it one of those things where you just like throw up your hands there and say it happened? There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. I'm sort of personally, I'm kind of more in the it happened. There's nothing I can do about it camp just because I'm already off onto the next thing. Andy Warhol said that has that quote where it's like, it's not my job to worry if it's good or not. I just want to make art. And while everybody else is talking about whether or not it's good, I'm already off onto the next thing. And that's kind of how I feel. Um, I do feel like I love Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I also love making fun of bad movies. But I come at it from a little bit of a different angle in that I also kind of admire bad movies because oftentimes, not
Mhm.
always, but oftentimes those movies did take a risk. And I
Yeah.
admire filmmakers and artists that take risks. So while I'm laughing because things may not have worked, I also come at it from a place of respect. Now, I'm not sure that everybody else laughing comes at it from the same place. And that's where things get a little problematic for me because there are a lot of people laughing at stuff that that actually seem to have some kind of contempt. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
jealousy because they don't have the bravery to do something different, or what it is. But and sometimes people get really aggressive about these things, like this movie sucked, like everybody should never work
Oh
again.
yeah.
Oh no, like people should definitely work again. They might get better, or if they don't, like we have more of these gems to like sit back and and laugh about. But but I come at it from a place of respect, but I don't feel like everybody else does. And I feel like that should be talked about, because I feel like all art should be protected in some way. Like we should, not just great art, but the art that doesn't work as well. We should look at it and nurture it. And, you know, maybe something else from those same people will be better next time. And, you know, we really don't know.
No, we don't. I just I have seen that. Like I reviewed a movie last night, and I wasn't like telling everybody on the movie that they should go home and never do this again. I wouldn't do that. But it was really irritating to see a character completely misconstrued. I mean, the character was a real life gentleman,
Oh,
and they played him like he was the damn devil. And I'm sitting there going like, man, that fired me up, because I'm going like, that's not how it is. That's not how this profession is. And
hmm,
yet you make him out to be like this ogre, and it's like, I just didn't get that. To me, it was sloppy and lazy filmmaking, and it's sort of like, to me, it borderline slander the man. And
hmm.
he's not here to defend himself anymore. He passed away years ago. But I'm sitting there watching that, and I got hot. I don't do that very often when I review, but I got hot. I can sit there, but at the same time, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and totally destroy it and say everybody in the movie is trash, and I'm not gonna do that, because it's not true.
Hmm.
But sometimes it does happen, though, to people. But I'm with you about that. When people who I've seen some hostile reviews,
Yeah.
some really heated hostile reviews, and I'm going like, man, I don't know what the problem is. Maybe you didn't have your Wheaties,
Yeah.
before he sat down or something. But you know, I mean, there are some movies that are that bad, but I mean, there's a way to rant against them, to make it, humorous. Like
Yeah.
our good friend Eric was here earlier. He's funny. I like his reviews because he's funny. He's not out to hurt anybody's feelings. He's just going out and saying how it is.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Did
what do you,
Roger
what?
Ebert do something like that? Like for I want to say Black Christmas. He, in his review, he put the names of everybody, or maybe not everybody, but a lot of the people who worked on the movie. Like he printed their names in the review. It was almost like as a as like a screw these people type thing.
Um, Let me go. Let's see. Oh, okay. See, Jeff here, he's also a fellow filmmaker such as yourself. He said that's how I felt with Luke Skywalker. Patrick, I'm still not over it. Neither am I, Jeff. Oh my God, no, no, that Star Wars trilogy was
Mm.
bullshit. Yeah, I'm with you. We'll be rowing the same boat there, brother. Um, let's see. Our friend Atro is here, and wants to know, what's the best part about directing a movie. So you've done directing some short films. So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, coming from an actor's point of view, what is your point of view about directing? What does it mean to you?
So it's kind of, as an actor, I feel like I don't have that much control. I talked about that a little bit. Like I'm really handing over my performance to other people. And as a director, of course, I feel much more in control of how I shape the story. I feel like a real storyteller, and I love it when you're able to convey something to people, be it like some of the crew or the actors, and they get it, and or maybe they even have a better idea, but it's like spitballing off of your idea. And when you feel that energy, and came from you or was inspired from by something you said, that really is exhilarating. And I guess I don't feel that as much with acting. Acting, I have a whole different set of joy that comes with that. But in terms of directing, like that's what I feel. And I guess also I should say that like growing up, I was really a shy person who sometimes had trouble saying what I wanted and conveying my feelings. And as a director, it has really helped me to get over that and to say, hey, no, this is what you should be doing in this scene. And because you really have to be able to articulate your thoughts. And I don't really have any problem with that anymore, but I still have all those memories from my childhood. So even though I'm not like that anymore, I still almost feel like I am because your past never really leaves you. So I guess on that level too, I really get a sense of joy from directing and being able to really mold people's performances and hopefully tell a good story. I've directed a couple shorts. My short films, I should say, are Old Hearts Cafe. That was one of my favorites. That's a absurdist comedy that I'm also the main actor, and I play a character called Marcus Montage, who's a dishwasher who wants to be a filmmaker. And it is a comedy, but it's not like a laugh riot comedy. It's more of a that's interesting comedy. And my other films are Chatter, which is a short horror film, and The Social Distancing Butterfly, which was a COVID film, and the Zoom Shorts episodes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of those links from you after we get done here, so I can put it down in the description box down below, so people can come by and take a look at it. I know I definitely want to take a look at the Zoom one,
Mm-hmm.
and I did catch that your father is involved. So your father is your father your inspiration for going in is to going into acting? Was he the catalyst for you?
Well, he's been a big cheerleader. Like he's honestly, he's driven me to auditions and performances, and I honestly don't think I could have done it without his support as growing up. He has been an inspiration specifically for writing. He's a writer. He's written about 15 books, and mostly in the nonfiction. Um, in nonfiction, he's written some sports books, and he used to work for Toni Morrison too. And so he's quite a prolific writer, and now he's focusing more on poetry and screenplays. But he also acts as well. There have been people in my family going back who have acted. I know my grandmother did Midsummer Night's Dream when she was young, and so it's definitely been passed down. I think I'm the only one who's done a bunch of films. My dad has done films as well with me, but I think I'm the first person. Somebody correct me if they're watching if I'm wrong, but I think my family has been involved with theater primarily. But I
Now
do
I'm
family.
now I'm looking at I'm looking at your filmography. I posted it in the chat. What blows me away, what really is so cool for me, is the fact that you've done so many TV series. I've never had anybody on here that has done so many TV shows as you've done. How do you? I mean, I heard that if you appear, I don't know if this is a golden rule or not. I don't think it is because looking at your filmography here, how do you find yourself working in so many of these great projects? I mean, how does that work out? I mean, like I said before, is it because the casting directors know who you are? I mean, look, you've been on Dr. Death, Saturday Night Live, Players, all the Law and Order films. I mean, someone would be happy just to land in one of those TV shows, even as a background player. But you're consistently in everything in New York. How do you what do you give the nod to that to? I mean, why do you think that? How has that happened for you? It has to be who you are as a person. Some casting directors going like, got to put this guy, got to keep this guy close to us because you're working so much. Um, so oh God, you're in Ghost Power Book 2. That's a gritty one. That's a gritty one. But you've done it. You've done Murders in the Building. I mean, how have you landed to where you've done so many of these shows? Uh-oh. Oh, there he is. Oh,
Hey, I'm back.
okay. Did you hear
Sorry
my
about that.
question?
Can you hear me? I
Yeah.
didn't. I got a phone call, and I guess the sound cut out. I
Oh,
apologize.
yeah. Yeah, it does do that.
I didn't know
So
that happened. I didn't know that happened. I was like, what's going on? Why did the sound cut out?
um, I was asking you, and I think Charles, our friend Charles, just answered it. But I was thinking, and going like, you've done so much TV work in New York. You've been in all the big projects in New York, the Law and Order, the
Uh-huh.
FBI, Murder in the Building, over and over and over again. Now, I've talked to people who worked in Chicago. In fact, Jeff actually appeared in a episode of Law and Order. He was featured in a Law and Order. I had heard that in a Dick Wolf project, if he appeared in one of his series, you couldn't come back for 2 years. But I'm looking at you, and you've appeared in a lot more. You appeared in a lot of Dick Wolf projects, productions, in as well as the other big movies, TV shows out of New York. What do you attribute that to?
Wow. Yeah. No, that's a really good question. I think a lot of times, sometimes I'm more seen than others. For some shows, they're very strict about it. Like if you've worked on the show, they don't want you back again. I haven't experienced that for the Dick Wolf shows. I've played many characters on. I think I've worked on like 23 episodes of SVU, and often playing different roles. A lot of it's very, deep background, but some of it's not. And what do I attribute it to? I think they really just want to have somebody reliable for a lot of productions, believe it or not. Obviously, if you're a main part of the show, they're not going to have you back as a different character. Although I have heard that that is not always true. There is an actor, I can't think of his name right now, but there is an
I know who it
actor
is.
who's been on one of the Law and Orders, and he's played like 11 different characters.
I do know they had a character a main character who played one role in SVU, and then he came back for Law and Order, and that was Anthony Anderson playing two different characters.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it happens. It happens. And I actually have played, I've played different people in the same scenes before. Like they had a scene where there were some like construction workers, and they were being, one of them was being taken away by the police. And then it cuts to like looky-loos looking on and being like, oh, what's going on? And I was one of the looky-loos as well. So yeah.
So you were a construction worker, saw your buddy get arrested, and then dashed over across the street and going, "Yeah, look at his ass getting hauled away."
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
23
Sometimes I like to
episodes.
pretend that I'm the same person in the Law and Order universe, and I just am the busiest person in the world. Like I'm everybody. I'm a
You know, there.
lawyer. I'm a
Yeah,
I'm a lawyer. I'm a court person. I'm just all over the city.
there was a show that came on called Mike Hammer, and was had Stacy Keach in it.
Oh
It
wow.
came on in the early '90s, and they had this one lady that they're supposed to have Mike Hammer follow. She didn't say anything. She was just in the movie. She was in every episode. We would see we see her legs, or you see a glimpse of her, and she never said anything. She just walked through the scene. It was just like, and pretty soon people were sitting there going like, "Okay, I'm noticing this. So who is it?" Um, And I would think if I saw you for 23 episodes, I'd be sitting there going like, okay, Mariska, who is this guy?
I'm the mysterious man in the Law and Order universe. But there are some other people that are in a similar boat. A lot of people have worked many episodes of Law and Order, and they just pop up everywhere.
That's fun. Jeff said that he just mentioned how he was on Law and Order, and the original one. He was on Organized Crime and the original twice, both principal roles within a year. I think it was because of the two different series, even though it was a crossover. So maybe that's it. Maybe you couldn't appear on one. Well, then again, that blows that the hell too, because you've been on 23 episodes.
Yeah,
that's averaging out to one a year. Wow, that's cool.
Because I've also the original and Organized Crime as well.
Now, are these the same? If someone wanted to get into extra work, right, the background work, because it's not easy to do, but obviously you make it really easy. How would someone break into that? How would someone actually get into that? And even though you are background, I have a feeling that even though your background, why do I have a feeling that you go, you in your preparation room or whatnot, and you build a character's backstory?
Oh my God, you got my number. I do that.
Yes. Yes. You know who else does that? You know who else? You know who else does that trick?
Who?
Al Pacino. Al Pacino does the same trick. He looks at everybody that he's acting with, and he makes a backstory for every one of them.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael Cassie, for that awesome story. But he told us that story. He told us that story. Al Pacino does the same thing. Anybody's in the room, even if it's just a background, he creates a backstory for that person, who they are, where they came from. So I had a feeling with you. I bet you do the same thing.
That is fascinating. I did not know that about Pacino, and now I really want to do some background with him so that he creates a backstory for me.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I do that as well. In terms of how to get into it, it probably varies depending on where you are located. In New York, you really do need to get in with central casting, and you just go and create a profile with them. You go in person to their office building, and they take a photo of you. Make sure that you look how you want to get booked in your photo. I wore a suit when I got my photo taken, so I tend to get a lot of like upscale bookings. And so if you don't want to lug a suit around all the time, maybe don't wear a suit. Dress how you want to get booked, because that's how they're going to think of you from that main photo. That's my number one bit of advice about that. And that's very important, like how you look. So, right now I have a beard. I didn't have a beard when I had my photo taken. So I usually have to shave when I get booked for extra work, because that's how they think of me. But if I had this look, then I just keep it.
I never thought about that, about dressing, for people, like, at least, I understand if you're going for an audition for a role, sure, you want, some people dress the part or what have you, but I never thought, to the extension part, like, okay, I'm gonna play what I want, I'm gonna dress like they, if they want me to, like the character.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm just thinking people with background work, they just walk in and hope they get picked. I didn't know there was an art to it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, there's a whole art to it.
That's what I mean, Ken. I think there's a book in you, for damn Skippy.
Thank you.
I do. I'm fascinated by it, because so many. They people have. Okay, I asked you this earlier about the people, notice, knowing, seeing you. Has that happened with the actors? The actors, have they used to seeing you? I mean, God, and Dick Wolf, if you're hearing this, I'm throwing this out in the universe. Give this man a speaking role. He's earned it. You've earned it. I am so fascinated. So what has been the funnest that you've worked on? The one that you just, other than the Gilmore, the Adam Sandler one, what's been your favorite TV set?
Oh, favorite TV set. That's a good question. I had a lot of fun working on Aquafina's show. Aquafina's North from Queens, because I had a cool little featured part in that, and I got to hang out with all of them. So I had a blast doing that. I always have fun on Law and Order. I've done a bunch of episodes, but you know, I always have a really good time, and I enjoy getting to talk to them. I have talked to Mariska a few times. Um, and Ice is really nice as well. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I always have a good time on that show. What else? Oh, I did a show that I'm quite proud of called We Crashed as well, with Anne Hathaway and Jared Leto, and it's about WeWork. It was an
Oh
Apple
yeah,
TV.
right. I remember that.
That was if you watch that again, I'm in one of the episodes as an executive, and it's a semi-featured part. It's the part where the guy has cock written on his forehead. I don't know if you remember that. Um, but
Well,
also the
that's
guy.
certainly memorable. I mean, people cannot sit there and say, I don't know if I've seen that before, because once if you've seen it once, you'll remember that forever. Um, now now I know it's gonna be a strange question, but for a role like that, and for them to do something like that to you, do you get compensated? Because that's pretty. I don't mind doing I wouldn't mind doing background or sharing a scene or whatever, but I don't know if I want to go around with, knowing
Oh,
that someone put the word cock on my forehead.
oh well, it wasn't me. It was somebody else.
Oh,
But no,
okay,
I was at
never
the
mind
table
then.
with
It's all
that
good.
guy. Um, If it was me though, yes, I was background, I would definitely be like, can I get like an upgrade on this? Well, I don't know. I don't know, because it depends how much I was just happy to be there. If it was something that I'd never heard of, and nobody particularly well known was in it, I might talk like, hey, can I get an upgrade? But if it was something where I'm just happy to be there and they're big stars and a lot of people are gonna see it, I'll be like, I'll let this one slide. So I'm a little inconsistent.
Let's see. Let's see. Thank you, April. Yeah, I love doing these too. These are so much fun. Our friend Steve, Stephen Lucas boy. Is it true that if you're easy to work with, the jobs are a lot more plentiful? That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Steve. I'm thinking they have you on speed dial because you're such a professional and you're reliable and you're dependable. And I mean, I think that's really a big, as well as talented. I think that's the secret, don't you?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. No, you can be extremely talented, but if you're difficult to work with, they're not really going to want to work with you again. It's such a tight knit community, and we're working so closely together. If you're a pain, unless you're making them a lot of money, like unless you're already established, they really don't want you back if you're a pain. And even if you are established, I really don't. Most of the big name people that I've worked with have been pretty easy to work with as well. I feel like you have to have a friendly demeanor and respectful demeanor in order to get booked a lot. I do attribute a lot to just being easy to get along with. I think that I'm pretty easy to get along with, and
Yeah.
I do think that that is probably a reason why I've gotten a lot of the work that I've gotten. I mean, Chris Rock has even said that. Like, I think he said something like, I sometimes I feel like I just get hired because I'm such a nice guy. But I do think there is something to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, because I never got a chance to talk about this as well, but you did an episode of Saturday Night Live. So take us behind there.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Now I didn't know that. I mean, I thought all the acting with on that show, or it being a comedy sketch, I thought that was all in house. But how did you get involved? I mean, did you have you tried out for I mean, do you feel what genre or what acting do you think you're strongest at? Dramatics, comedy, physical comedy? I mean, action. I mean, what's your favorite role to act? And how did you end up doing this Saturday Night Live?
So comedy is actually my number one love. And
Oh,
I feel like that's where I'm at my strongest. I've done a lot of dramatic work, and I think I feel like I've mostly done like dramas, crime, and horror, and I love always working on those projects. But I do feel like I'm most at home when I'm doing comedy, and so working on Saturday Night Live was a dream for me. And they actually, they have their main cast, but they do actually hire outside of that for particularly for the background for their video segments, their pre-recorded segments. You'll notice a
oh,
lot
right.
of people.
Like the digital shorts.
Yeah, the digital shorts, they have a lot of background for those. And also, if you've worked for a full year doing that, or they will reach out to you to maybe do the live show as well. But you have to have done a year of the digital shorts before you can work the live show, because they want to make sure you're not crazy or whatever before they put you on live TV.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but but yeah, that was super cool. Dakota Johnson was the host when I did that, and we did it was the home video sketch, and it was a sketch, if anybody watched it, where it was kind of like a Jerry Springer type thing, where the mom and dad are showing their kid like how they met, and it was basically on a Jerry Springer type show, and that was
Oh,
the and it was super cool to work on, and there was actually a really cool stunt in that scene. You don't even really appreciate stuff like that sometimes when you're just watching it, but there's a part where Mikey Day's character gets thrown against the wall, and we had to watch the stunt person do that over and over again, and
ooh.
like he was absolutely amazing.
Okay. He was happy getting tossed around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. How many digital? So that means you did 12 shorts. You did 12 digitals, then you got to go on.
Yeah, if you work a season on the digital shorts, you can do the live show. I've only done one though, unfortunately,
Oh,
so I got to do some
okay.
more.
So how does that work out that you get? How did you get that role? Did you was a casting agent or somebody know you and ask you to do it? Or because
So
I thought I heard it was really hard to get in there.
yeah, it is actually. It took me many years of trying to get in. Even for the background, it's really hard. Um, so through my union, I'm in SAG, and one of the perks was we got to meet with casting agents, and we got to choose like who we get to choose who we want to meet with, and on the list were the people that do the casting, the background casting for Saturday Night Live. And because I love comedy, I love sketch, and like working on SNL is my dream. So I was like, I gotta just do this. So that's what I did, and I met with them, and then I got on their list. So I get to hear
Uh,
each week when they're casting for which episodes which episodes they're casting for, and I get to apply for it. And yeah, it's really hard to get in, like on any level, even for background, it's really hard to get in. So I've only worked one episode, but I'm feel blessed to even have done that and to get to see how
yeah.
they all work.
Are you gonna? Do you apply for every episode?
Yes, yes.
Oh, and so I don't blame you. No, I'd be doing it too. Hell
Yeah,
yeah. Well, get in once, get a little taste, and want to come back and do it again.
yeah. No,
Uh, 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 so what do you have going on for the rest of your year? What's the rest of your year looking like, as far as working? I mean, I saw you have 10 projects coming up, including some that are done.
yeah. So
So
next, what I have coming up, I have a film coming. It's releasing on the 23rd called Tem Fouget. And that's an independent film that I did. I play a kind of grouchy husband in that. And then there's In the Dark Solace, which I just finished co-directing with Karen Klami, and that's is starring Shelley Smith, and that's a really cool. It's a really dark gritty, dramatic film that I'm really excited to share. And I have a couple other projects and some big feature films as well that I don't think I can talk about yet, but there's some pretty
Right.
exciting stuff in the works. That's one is dropping Christmas, and one is I'm not going to say the name, but one of the Safdie brothers directed it, I'll say. So, and that's
Okay.
dropping
Okay.
here.
Yeah, those guys seem to be on the way up, man. Their stars
Yeah,
starting to shine rather brightly.
absolutely.
So it's good to stay. It's good that you get a chance to work with them, and hopefully they'll remember you in the future and bring you back and give you that give you some action.
I hope so.
Um,
Yeah, I've met. Well, I've worked with Josh and I've met Benny, and he's a very cool guy, and I'd love to just talk with him. And yeah, they're really cool, and they're also they do some great work and hire some interesting people too. So they're cool to get in with because they don't just hire like your normal, big name actors. They really look for interesting faces, so they're good to get in with.
well, one cool thing I can say about this about tonight, and of course, if I'm speaking out of my ass, I'll take that too. But I'm very happy that Jeff Clark is here tonight because he is a filmmaker in New York, and he's extremely talented as well. And I love it when I see talented people work together. So hopefully maybe down the line you guys can meet up and network and maybe do something together. That would be very cool. And then we have you guys both come back and talk about it. But I just wanted to say that I hope that we wish you the very best. I mean, this has been such a fun show. And in case people missed it, because sometimes people do, but don't forget that Ken was in Cold in July, which is from IFC Films. We have a deep dive on it. You guys go back and watch it for the IFC show. Um, for that right there, Ken has made the Eight Questions with Hall of Fame. Uh, so, but I want to thank you for coming out and talking with us. I cannot wait to see your next projects. I can't go wait. I'm going to go back and watch the Zoom. I'm going to get that from you. I'm going to watch that. And I want to thank the chat tonight. You guys have made this show very special. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Thank you so much, Dow and the Wonder Twins, Stephen Lucas, Atro. Thank you so much. Yes, Jeff, of course, I just mentioned. Thank you so much for coming out, brother. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun, tremendous fun. We have stuff coming up on the calendar before we let you guys go. I didn't get a chance to read it before you got here, so I'll read it now real quick. Won't take but a second. We are still working and rocking and rolling through September. Next Saturday at 4 p.m., we're doing a matinee show, and we have a storyteller. We have Florence Frightingale. She'll be here with us on the 20th at 4 p.m. Cannot wait to talk to her. She's going to have some spooky stories to tell, that's for sure. She'll be here on the 20th. Next week we have we only have one show. We had Mickey James. We had to push her back to the 30th. We had pro wrestler Mickey James. Jesus Christ! Don't kill me, Eric. Mickey Knuckles will be here on the 30th. She is still recovering from her injuries. I saw a picture of it. Oh, Jesus. Cannot wait to talk to her. She's crazy. She's fearless. And on the 24th, we'll be talking with actress and screenwriter, journalist Samantha Plotkin will be here with us on the 24th. And then on the 27th, we have a watch party with Invitation to Hell. And I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you more about that on Saturday. All right, everybody. That is it for us. Thank you so much for being here. I'll stay right where you're at, Ken. And then to everybody else, I'm going to say good night. And we'll see you Saturday at 4 p.m. Peace.